Alright y'all, we're back with another video. A little less than a week ago, I made my post scorer build. You're looking at my post scorer right now. I told you I was gonna make a 6-6 post scorer. It was gonna be the most elite experiment, the biggest challenge I've ever tried. It seems like you have a 6-6 post scorer and it negates all the positives to being a post scorer to begin with. So this video, I'm gonna be talking about the positives and negatives. I'm gonna be showing y'all my build. The intention of this video is not to convince you or anybody to use this build. It's never that. In fact, in any of my videos, I'm not trying to convince you to do anything. I'm showing you the way I get it done. There's more than one way to always get shit done. This is how I did it. This is my build. This is what I did. Let's get into the video. And one more thing, I'm not gonna be speaking all positive about this build because there are some really clear negatives. Some of it's gonna be obvious to y'all, some of it maybe not. So first things first, we head over into the attribute upgrade department. This is how I got it done. At first, I didn't think I was gonna have enough attributes to actually fill out layups and shooting off dribble, which would have literally been a huge fucking catastrophic mistake. But I maxed off shooting off dribble, which is very important. One, because it's good to shoot off dribble, but two, because shot close is wildly important for post scorers, I've realized. Layups and dunks, of course, has to be maxed. I'm gonna need as much standing dunk as I possibly can. We're gonna get into that. Mid-range, I have up to a 73, so I can shoot open, easy. Post scoring max, agility max, strength max. We got rebounding, haven't touched that. That one's left on its own. Playmaking is maxed and my defense not maxed. So there it is. Those are my attributes. I'm gonna show y'all the badges. Yo, huge shout out to OG Heat because I tweeted out, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get my badges done for this post scorer. It's looking like a hefty workout. And then he just tweeted back at me. We worked it out. I'm gonna leave a link in the description if y'all wanna hit him up because he hooked me up heavy. So these are the badges I got. 4 Hall of Fame badges. One of them is still gold. One man fast break, pickpocket. So pretty much the badges you think you're gonna need as a post scorer. The only one thing I'm missing is difficult shots. And that's what I'm probably gonna end up getting for this player. A lot of the shots I take as a post scorer are contested. You're not taking open post fades or open post hooks, right? If it's open, you're likely gonna drive and dunk. So a lot of them are difficult shots. It's gonna make sense to get that badge. I'm gonna be aiming for it. But that's the only thing I think is missing from this entire build video. So if you guys missed my video a week ago where I announced this player and I said I was gonna be making him, I'll leave a link in the description. But basically I said I was gonna be making a 6'6 post scorer. Here he is. I have, of course, a maximum wingspan. That's relevant to all archetypes. Max everything out. I have average weight. I contemplated between heavy and light. I also went down the middle. I copied down all the attributes and I decided that average weight was the way to go for me. It's a good balance between speed and strength. Of course, I have max shoulder width and I think my number is 20. That's my whole build. That's the build that I actually made to get this player. LeBron, what's up, man? Just gonna stare at me? Alright, so here we go, man. These are all my fucking animations. This is what took me a little while to get used to. I had to calibrate. It took a minute, right? So I'm gonna scroll down, pause the video if you need him. But I went with the Melo Jumper. This shit is clean. I'm not gonna be shooting contested much, so I got Melo Jumper down. I used it in previous 2Ks. I slowed it down 1 notch on the jump shot creator, and so it just makes it a little bit easier for me to control. Usually I'm not pulling up unless I'm wide the fuck open regardless. And of course you already know my favorite pull up off dribble is Stephen Curry. That shit is too fucking clean. Alright, so here's the part of the video y'all are really looking forward to because I'm gonna be talking about the build itself, how it's worked out. I'm gonna be showing y'all some of the gameplay. Let's get into it. So to start, while I was testing, I was getting messages like this a lot. People were telling me, yo, Agent, the post scorer is a flop. But just like anything in life, especially when you're in 2K, when you're working with your jump shot, you can't just fucking try it for 2 seconds and quit. You gotta get used to it. You gotta work on it. You gotta try and perfect it. If then it doesn't work, move on. I did the same here. So first thing, y'all wonder, Agent, how much did you get out rebounded? A decent amount is the answer. Like, you're usually gonna see clips of me getting out rebounded just because I'm shorter. I haven't maxed out my rebounding. I didn't even touch it. So this rebounding is identical to that of my sharpshooter. The only big difference is here, I have gold bruiser and 85 strength. So when I box people out, unlike my sharpshooter, I keep them behind me. So the key for me was to get in position before I even had an opportunity to get out rebounded. But this was a huge flaw for me. There was games where I was just getting toasted. You're seeing some clips of it here, and it kills my team when the second chance opportunities come. And the next thing is you gotta play with the team that knows what the fuck they're doing. Cause you play with a random and it's a wrap. This goes for most post scorers, but especially a 6'6 post scorer because there were so many times I was playing with randoms and they kept trying to cut in my lane while I was trying to post up. And you get double teamed, you're gonna turn it over. It's a disaster as a post scorer when you have people that don't know how to space the floor. You gotta play with the squad with this build. And the surprising thing for me, and this is one of the huge pros, yo, the strength is no joke. You see clips of me boxing people out and they stay the fuck behind me. The crazy part is I was living off of mismatches. Yo, when the people I'm guarding have less than a 60 strength and I have an 85, I know about it. And I can muscle them down so quick. Give me 1 or 2 bumps, I'm down in the paint, drop step, bang. So this is the reason why when I first started, I didn't want to call it quits, because I knew if I can get it to work. And the thing about a 6'6" is he's quick, right? You got to use the strength and the agility to your advantage. You can't be treating yourself like a 7'3" post scorer. I can't be trying to drop step all the time. I can dribble the ball. I have similar dribbling to my sharpshooter. It's a little bit slower, but a lot of the animations are similar. So I wanted to be crafty with the ball. You're seeing a clip right here, me muscling the guy down and he's going to reach in. That happens often. Some people's solution to post scorers is just to reach in, which I'm fine with because I could just back him down again. Like, I'll endlessly back him down until their teammate grade fucks up. So I'm going to get the ball back here and, of course, go inside every single time. And I learned quickly that when I'm doing my drop step, I can't wait. I have to go up immediately or else they're going to block me because I don't have the luxury of a great standing dunk. Yeah, one of my favorite parts of having this post scorer is the fact that it has a much better driving layup, contact dunk, and driving dunk than my sharpshooter. Y'all know I like to attack the hoop on all sides, whether I'm hitting people with the Euro step, whether I'm driving spin layup, bang, whether I actually have a contact dunk animation with this player. I legit with the small forward post scorer. People see my build and for the most part they're like, you know, he can't really dribble. But given the opportunity, I have similar animations to my sharpshooter, and so the handling wasn't too different. It wasn't like a huge learning curve when it came to that. Is I can attack the hoop, and especially if you don't see it coming, the unpredictability is I can cook you. That layup right there is, whoa, that's facts. Yo, I don't know how that shit for a fact wouldn't have went in with my sharpshooter. So I understand that's a small pro for many of you, but for me, especially as someone who, like, for the first few months of 2K, all I did was shoot threes, to be able to drive and hit it that effectively, that shit had me gassed, man. I was feeling some sort of way. I was like, it's definitely fun, man. It's definitely fun. Now, this is the main reason I made the build, y'all. When I made the announcement video, you know I said, listen, y'all, Kobe, Michael Jordan, dude, Kawhi Leonard, these Carmelo Anthony, these are players who can hit the high post fade with incredible effectiveness. Now, these are the players I had in mind when I made this build. Can I replicate some of these players? Now, I was talking to some of the post scorers I knew and they're giving me some tips. Initially, you're going to see some animations here of Dirk Nowitzki and Michael Jordan. So I did the Jordan to start, but I realized although Jordan had a more fluid animation, it didn't create a lot of room. The Dirk release creates a lot of room. Although it's a weirder release to get used to, trust me, if you don't contest me, it's a green, no matter what. And it's gonna go in. It doesn't even have to be a green because it's gonna bang. It's a post fade wide the fuck open, right? If you do contest me though, there's still a really good chance it's going in. So once I start to factor in the shimmies or I drop step you the position before, and I just start to get clever with the moves and crafty, bro, the post fade is fun. When I was getting used to this build, I was playing Park and I just got on by myself. I was playing with randoms for the most part. A few of the games I played with Mindframe and then an extra random. So I'm gonna give y'all like the overview now. There's some major fucking cons. Y'all, the biggest issue with this build for me, and part of it might have been because I didn't max out my defense. Drop step, standing dunk, let's go. It is not a thing. You can't guard playmakers with this or point forwards. The very neat thing, and this is something incredibly unexpected, is I can D up people on perimeter really fucking nice. With Bruiser on me and a max strength, there are so many times where I have an animation where I literally shove the person. It should really be a blocking foul, but they don't call it. If you do not have a playmaker, I can D you up with this player better than any build that's not a lockdown defender or a paint protector. Because I don't have the lateral quickness, but I have the strength. And I'm able to keep up with you with the poor lateral quickness, unless, of course, you're a playmaker. The playmakers, and actually shot creators I have a trouble with as well because they can shoot off the dribble, so I always have to stick on them. But playmakers specifically, I legitimately cannot hold L2 and play pressure defense against playmakers that know what they're doing. I can guard playmakers that don't know what they're doing, but the good ones, because we play twos and we're playing against some good ones, they cook the living soul out of me. So even though I had a mismatch on specific people down in the paint, they had a huge mismatch on me if you were a playmaker on the perimeter. And so I'm playing with Too Cool. Sometimes that man's fucking pick and roll defense be suspect. So it was a major struggle guarding some of these players. It was tough to get used to. And I had to realize I legitimately can't hold L2 and seriously play defense against some of these playmakers. But you see me right now, that's a glass cleaner right there. That's an 86 glass cleaner. I write the fuck down. I could tell he didn't max out his strength. I hit him with the drop step. Bang. So the defense on the perimeter is phenomenal until you play a player that's really quick. Or you play one of those players that did the animation glitch, so they have the playmaker animations. one of those, that's always a problem for me, I've recognized. So that's a huge issue, man. Something that's really neat though is because I have a really quick player and Hall of Fame brick wall, it's really easy for me to hit a screen, get my players open, and then either, I can't pop of course because I'm not shooting shots, but roll to the rim. It's really, because usually when you got brick wall, you got a tall ass player slow as fuck, right? But when you got a fast player and you're doing it, it's a whole new different story. Like if the people you're guarding don't have good like pick and roll defense, it's gonna be a wrap. There's no way they're gonna be able to compete. I haven't exactly mastered this build yet. You saw some clips of me earlier hitting some mid-range shots. I can hit those money. Y'all know I got the Stephen Curry pull-up on my sharpshooter. I legit, when y'all see the mixtape I have on my sharpshooter, y'all gonna know exactly why I use that Stephen Curry dribble pull-up. But I can shoot 70 dribble pull-up. I can shoot lights out as long as I'm open. I'm not gonna be shooting those contested unless the shot clock is down, of course. But specifically, the one move I'm trying to get used to now, and if I can, then I'd be an elite player, man, with this post scorer, is when you're in the post and you do the post hop step. So you hop out the post, you create a fuck ton of room for yourself. The only problem is it's so difficult to time those, man. So if I can get that move down, that's the next move I was trying to get down. The first move I mastered was the drop step. I figured out how to use it effectively with the build that I had. I had to be quick with it. I didn't have the standing dunk that taller players had, so I had to be unique. Sometimes I had to wait for them to jump and then go up immediately. I had to be quick and crafty. That's the whole point of this build. It's gonna take some skill to use a player like this because it's not easy. It's a tough build to get used to. And on top of that, you legit have to have a team around you that makes sense, because if you, especially if you have like a slasher and a playmaker, unless that playmaker can really shoot and that slasher can hit corners, the spacing is gonna be so awful with the slasher trying to hit the rim and then you're trying to post up. At that point, you're just a glorified pick and roll setter. You'd be like, what that one time, didn't Greg Popovich call Tiago Splitter the greatest screen setter in the NBA? I don't want to be no bullshit like that. I want to be like Dirk Nowitzki, you know. I had on Michael Jordan in mind when I made this build. So, I mean, it's a challenge. I found that when I'm quick, y'all saw, look, just right there in that clip, is the post spin is actually really effective, but it's only effective if they don't see it coming, because it's the first couple times they won't see it coming, then they will. They'll start to adjust. But when they do start to adjust, if you fade in the other direction, I'm telling you, when you are unpredictable, this build is so much fun to cook people. You're like, a small forward post scorer did this to me. How? And so my final verdict is, I'm not going to use this player in any sort of serious game. And I think that was obvious when I made the build, right? Now, what makes this incredibly obvious for me is the defense. Yo, I cannot get cooked by playmakers like that. Especially if I can't be the big on the team all the time, or else I'm going to get out-rebounded. But if I'm in the middle and I'm guarding a point forward or a playmaker and I'm getting cooked, I'm a liability for the team. This build really only makes sense, one, because you get a fuck ton of teammate grade for the post move. If you're trying to rep up, I know glass cleaners is an incredibly easy way. If you have a sharpshooter or a playmaker carrying you, you can run with the glass cleaner or a stretch and sit there, get rebounds, set screens, and it's really easy to run that way. But I found that I was getting literally A-minuses easy on the twos, and I wasn't even trying for it. I was legitimately just playing and having fun. We were going on a little bit of a streak. This player makes a lot of sense for the twos because the floor is so spaced. When you're playing threes, when you're playing Pro-Am, because I played a few Pro-Am matches, bruh, it is tough to find space on the floor. If you're playing Pro-Am, this build makes 0% sense. You're gonna have to go with the post scorer that is big. You're gonna have to go with the 7-3 post scorer Max Way. That's the one that makes sense for you, because he's gonna be inside and he's gonna have to dominate, get boards, along with do the stuff that you're doing. So I'm saying, and this is my final verdict, because y'all know I'm not biased about this shit. I'm not trying to convince y'all that this is the build you should make. I don't think y'all should make this build. It's definitely a fun build to do, but if you're gonna do the build, and you know, I was really doing this for experiment purposes, right? I didn't do this thinking it was gonna be the most phenomenal thing. I thought, yo, it'd be fun to try this shit out. And so I wanted to try this shit out. The final verdict really though is, yo, it's dope on the twos, really fucking fun. It's good on the threes if you have a squad to play with, but it is non-existent. Don't even try this shit on Pro-Am. And if you have like one player you can make and you're not trying to grind for a ton of players, then this isn't the player for you, right? If you're trying to be incredibly effective with it. Now, if you're trying to have fun, catch people off guard a couple times, you know what I mean? This build's gonna be fun as fuck to play with, right? But there's also other builds that are fun as fuck to play with. So it's really on you if you want to take that risk. Also, keep in mind, I don't have the badges like difficult shots. I don't have many badges at all with this player outside of the Hall of Fame badges I do have. So that's obviously gonna make a difference. I don't have pick and roll dodger, none of that stuff. But the defense alone is like enough for me to go, all right, I'm not playing any serious games with this build. But anytime I want to grind now, since I have the player, if I'm trying to grind twos, especially now that double XP is up for the next little while, bruh, I'm gonna be on this post score, man. I'm gonna be running up the twos. I have heavy mismatches. I'm gonna take advantage. It is really fucking fun to see people with less strength than you and just dominate them. And they ask themselves, how did this post scorer do that? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you get doubled a lot. You have to kick out the ball to your teammates a lot of the time. But when you don't get doubled, you can cook and sauce players, especially one-on-one when you know what you're doing. I have a long way to go with this build, though, but I'm definitely having fun with it. So here is my build video. Now y'all know. If y'all enjoyed this shit, of course, be sure to drop a like on it. Subscribe if you guys are new. I'm gonna leave it on that. I'm definitely making more videos on this player. It's not like this is the only time y'all gonna see it, but this is the end to the build video, all right? So, again, link in the description if y'all missed the announcement video. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video, which, by the way, is gonna be a pretty dope video. I already have it planned. I'm out. Peace.